This hotel
This is the Four Seasons Peninsula Papagayo, situated stunning.
The Four Seasons Papagayo has been the undisputed best hotel in Costa Rica for many years, winning the only Forbes 5-star denotation in all of Central America. It is a social media viral sensation and has won countless other awards as well. But just this year, 2 other high-end luxury hotels opened in the same area. So of course, I had to do a full review to see if it still holds the title of best. I travel around the world and do reviews of top hotels out of 50 points in 5 categories. The categories are the ambiance, the room, the dining, the service, and the it factor. This hotel is really a viral sensation because of the grounds and the property itself. So let's kick it off with the ambiance. So this is where you'll probably be spending most of your time. There are 2 pools here, Bahia and Blanca, and a jacuzzi. So the pools are chlorine, and as empty as you see they are now, that's pretty much what it is all day long. There are cabanas that you can rent here, there's poolside service. It's one of the best parts of this hotel. They don't advertise it much, but this is the spa. And one great thing about this spa is that they incorporate local Costa Rican traditions and ingredients into all of their treatments. So today, I booked the Suru ritual, which is cacao from Central America, and it's a full ritual in their hammam right here on site. They also have mud from the rainforest, they have fresh pressed welcome drinks. Let's see what it looks like inside. Full body scrub, banana leaves from Costa Rica here, and then there's a coconut massage after that. It's all part of the ritual. I'm very excited. Honestly, one of the best spa treatments that I've had on this channel so far. Very skilled. The cacao integration was wonderful. Loved the banana leaves wrap and the massage. This is definitely going to be a contributor to the ambiance. So all of the wood in this lobby is local from indigenous communities in Costa Rica. They designed this hotel to camouflage into the lush natural surroundings, but we have seen a little bit more of a grand entrance at maybe the Four Seasons Anguilla, for example. Overall, it is definitely well designed and thoughtful, so I'm excited to see the rest of this hotel. So right up this hill is the Shala, which is the newest development here at the Four Seasons. It's where all of the wellness activities take place, from sunrise yoga to sound bath experiences, which we're about to go try right now.
So we have a pretty robust wellness program. We offer a wide variety of classes, yoga, meditation, sound healing. Sound healing, it's perhaps the most popular offering that we have here. I encourage everybody to really embrace the power of breath, the power of breathing deeply and connecting to yourself through the breath. That is definitely a core pillar in my teachings. Take a moment to really feel what's going on within. And from there, just listen to the heart as well.
So you may not be spending a lot of time on your vacation exercising, but if you do, the Four Seasons here has a pretty incredible gym. There's an indoor and outdoor terrace to exercise in, which I haven't really seen before. And all of the equipment is very clean and quite modern. In fact, they even have personal training sessions that you can purchase at the front desk. Walking around the resort, you can see there are thousands of plants here, literally thousands. Many of them are blooming currently, so the smell in the air is incredible. At the Four Seasons, they do a great job of manicuring and curating the property. That's the case at almost every Four Seasons that I've stayed at. Let's end the ambiance section here with the beaches. Yes, there are 2 beaches here at the Four Seasons Papagayo. See, the hotel is actually built on an isthmus, which means it's surrounded by ocean on both sides, but connected to land on the top and the bottom. The beaches themselves, however, are not that nice. It's a little bit dirty, it's pretty small on both sides, and honestly, a little cluttered with the chairs and all of the things that they have out here. However, the fact that it's located where it is very interesting. Okay, I lied. There is one more thing I want to show you in the ambiance of this hotel, and that is the resort at night. I mean, just listen to it. So now that you've seen all of this hotel, let's give it an ambiance score. Now remember, the Four Seasons Papagayo is 20 years old and it is starting to show its age. The beach is a little bit run down, some of the materials and decor in the public areas are just dated, and the materials in the hallway to the room and other spaces feel like they're just lower quality than what we've seen at other price points that are similar. With that being said, the spa was surprisingly great, the gym is solid, and some of the public spaces are well appointed and spacious. I gave the ambiance a 7 out of 10. Back in the lobby, they let us know our room is officially ready, so let's see if it continues to impress. There are 198 rooms and suites here at the Four Seasons. I booked the base room at $1,500 a night as of this video. However, some villas and suites can go for over $40,000 a night. Now, before we go to the room, I want to take a moment and thank today's sponsor of this video. So you saw Carl Friedrich in Ritz-Carlton Neckowee in Costa Rica, and I reached out to the team to see if we could do a bigger collaboration because I truly love this luggage so much. They have incredible carry-on bags, they have checked luggage, backpacks, and day traveling bags. The link below is the direct link to purchase. Now, let's go take a look at the room. So walking to the room here, you can see how much nature is behind me, but the resort also incorporated nature into the structure. So above us is a dried bamboo ceiling that you can smell like it's actually just freshly placed up there. Before we go into the room, I want to talk quickly about some of the materials they're using here. So this is actually not natural wicker. This is kind of a plastic that they have for the wall. Down here, there's a floor mat in front of the door that doesn't look like they've invested a lot into that design, which is interesting, and I wonder if that continues in the room. Let's kick off the room section with the balcony. So this is not standard in every room category here. You have to add it on, but honestly, I'm not sure if I would. Not only is there a thick mosquito net that impedes your vision, which is a nice touch, but you can't remove it. There's also a lot of dead foliage here. It's just not the most scenic by far that we've seen on this channel. However, it is a spacious balcony and it's well furnished. Everything just looks not as new as maybe it could. Let's go take a look at the rest of the room. Back inside now, they have a Brit espresso machine, perfectly clean, 3 bottles of water, and the minibar. Everything on this top row is complimentary, which includes espresso pods, Tea Forte, one of my favorite tea brands, some milk here, and everything you need to make your drinks. The second is for purchase, beautifully laid out. Definitely have seen better snacks at other luxury hotels. I would have loved to see some local ingredients, local foods, local snacks here. This bottom drawer is similar. You've got Tate's cookies, some crackers here, and some chips. Again, nothing that feels very unique or interesting or customized to this place. So an opportunity for improvement and something that people would purchase if they put a little more thought into it. Over here, we have one of the best welcome gifts I've ever seen at a hotel. Everything from a pineapple shrub cocktail making kit, fresh guacamole, like it was just literally made moments ago. There's 3 different desserts on the back here. I thought this was a very great way to be welcomed to the room, so you can tell the guacamole is made fresh. Almost all of the pretzels and chips are a little bit soggy and stale. So I wonder if the humidity from outside actually affects some of the welcome gifts that they have here. Overall, this was a really great part of the room and will definitely contribute to the service score a little later. And of course, the legendary Four Seasons beds. So in the past, these beds have been the best sleep on the channel, hands down. You can see already this will not be an exception to that. But of course, I'm going to give it a full bed review when I sleep on this tonight and wake up in the morning and let you know how it is. There's this kind of darker wood around the edge of the room, which isn't personally my favorite, but I do really like this headboard that has a light shining through it. It almost has this amber gap in the wood here, like it was reclaimed or found on the beach. Remember, all of the wood in this hotel is local wood and made by local artisans in Costa Rica. Here's something that I noticed. There's no iPad in this room. So Four Seasons usually has modern touches like iPads or a device that you can communicate with the front desk, and I've looked around and haven't been able to find that. I want to show you one more thing that I found. So this is the adjoining room. Behind it, there's this soft padding, which I figured out is actually soundproofing in between the two rooms. That is very thoughtful, and I'm sure when I go to sleep tonight, it'll be very serene and quiet with only the sound of the ocean to put me to sleep. Let's take a look at the bathroom. So you have this spacious bathroom directly connected to the room. In fact, there's a window that looks out into the room, so it feels like it is all one space, kind of an open concept. Right away, what I noticed is there are 3 different types of stone in this bathroom here, which it just feels a little disjointed. It's a dual vanity with Natura Vitae amenities, which is a higher end brand here. Let's do our shower test. So the shower test is 3 different criteria points. That is the size, the ease of use, and the pressure. The shower is spacious. There's glass here to look into the bathroom. Ease of use is also pretty great. This style could be redone. It's not very modern, but you turn it for cold, turn it for hot. Seems pretty easy. It is a nice and consistent pressure for a shower like this. It gets warm pretty quickly. So I mentioned the amenities before are Natura Vitae. Here's something that's interesting. It looks a little bit used, and you can see here they could have done a better job of cleaning this or replacing it. Same on this side. It just doesn't feel as clean as it could feel when you're using amenities in the shower, which is usually where you want to feel the most clean. But the final thing in this room is over here. They give you a natural mosquito repellent. We're in Central America, so there's a lot of insects, and I thought this was a nice touch. Now I want to show you one of the top categories here at the Four Seasons. This is the 3-bedroom canopy villa with a private plunge pool right here in your suite. Here inside the villa, one of the most striking and incredible features is this view. So of course you have the Peninsula Papagayo here. In the distance is the Santa Rosa National Park, and if you really look, you can even see Nicaragua in the far distance over there. So I'm about to sleep in this bed and do an official bed test. But before I do, I'm gonna call the front desk and order room service breakfast for 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Part of the service section a little bit later is testing if it shows up on time, if the food is hot and fresh, and I always order the same thing. Let's give them a call.
Room service.
Could I order room service for tomorrow morning, please, for breakfast?
Absolutely.
Excellent. And could I order for 7 a.m. and I would like a Eggs Benedict, please, and a black coffee.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Have a good day, and thank you for your room service.
Have a great night. Let's get some sleep. So like we thought, that was an amazing sleep in an amazing mattress. Four Seasons actually sells these beds online because they are so good. I'm definitely a Four Seasons bed junkie, but let's give the room an official score with all of this in mind. It's time to give this an official room score. The decor, the design, the materials are all quality and thoughtful, but the room itself was definitely far from the best that I've reviewed on this channel. The view was okay, the mosquito net can't be removed, it didn't really have the modern touches that we're used to at high-end hotels. With that being said, it did pass the shower test and the bed test like all Four Seasons do. So I gave the room a 7 out of 10. Now, I keep hearing about these restaurants, so let's get dressed and jump into the dining. Good morning from Bahia. This is an all-day grab-and-go breakfast, lunch, and dinner here at the Four Seasons. I'm gonna get the most popular thing on the menu to kick off our dining score. Before the dishes come out, they give you a complimentary cassava bread with cheese here, and it's one of my favorite dishes. So the most popular thing on the menu is the quesabirria, which is a quesadilla with birria sauce on the side. It looks fantastically good. Very good flavor. So you have that kind of heavier cheese mixed with the chicken, kind of like a traditional quesadilla with a very nice corn crust on the outside. Definitely very good. I would come back for this for sure. Poolside, no question. All of their servingware, from their cups to their plates, are made by local Aboriginal people in the Guanacaste region. So there are 7 different Aboriginal tribes in the area. The Four Seasons will then purchase these from the tribes directly. What a great and interesting way to integrate some of the local people into the dining experience here. This is añejo, which is tapas and crudo here. It's light bite, so I ordered the barba roja, which is the most popular sushi roll. It is fried maki in a roll. Apparently it looks great and is great. It has a fried outer exterior to the sushi itself. Let's give this a try. That is a very flavorful bite. It's got a nice soy teriyaki glaze. The textures are fantastic. Again, another hit for the Four Seasons here with their tapas and sushi bar. Continuing our dining journey, we are at the El Viador Beach Club, which is literally right on the beach. So you can swim in the ocean, walk up the sand, sit down, and have fresh Mediterranean food right here at the Four Seasons. So the 2 most popular things on the menu here are the chicken shawarma and the watermelon cubes with feta. So of course I got both of them to give them a try. You got a nice pita on top. Wow, okay. Let's give it a try. The pita is so fresh, very soft and warm. Inside there's almost a curry flavor to it. With the chicken and the onion, it has a nice combination of flavors. Definitely stand out. So now we have the watermelon and feta dish. It's got some crushed walnuts on top. The watermelon is so fresh and so juicy. So it's a very hot day today here in Costa Rica, and this is the perfect midday snack. This was a great dish here. Now, there are 2 dinner restaurants that are more sit-down formal here at the Four Seasons. The first is called Pesce, which is an Italian restaurant in Costa Rica. It's a very interesting menu, so I can't wait to show you what's inside. Before the first dish came out, they put some Parmigiano Reggiano here, as well as some olives. You would never think you're in Costa Rica. It's like you left Costa Rica, and now I'm in Italy. It's a very high quality olive oil. You can tell by the color of the olive oil as he was pouring it. The sourdough bread is a little bit dry and stale, to be honest, but the olive oil and the balsamic is very nice, so it does make up for it. So apparently the best thing on the menu here is the branzino. The presentation is just very much the way it was cooked. Slightly under-seasoned, but overall perfectly cooked. Very moist. The under seasoning could just be, honestly, salt, but all of the flavors are there, and the consistency of the fish is there as well. If you can't tell by the look on my face, the souffle is my favorite dessert, especially the vanilla souffle. Look at that. Souffle is made with egg whites, so it's very light. It's almost like a very soft pancake. That is so good. I would come back here just for this souffle. It's hard to find a vanilla souffle these days. It really is. I look for it everywhere I go. This was a nice treat. This is the second dinner option here at the Four Seasons called Marrow, which is a high-end steakhouse that has some very interesting dining menu options. So the first dish that came out here is the bone marrow, which they lit on fire, and they give you some toast here. You can spread the bone marrow on top, and you have a couple of sides. What a presentation. And this is one of the biggest dishes I've ever seen. That flavor is incredible. It's got almost a rubbery, kind of gooey texture, but tastes like ultra rich butter. It's just a very rich dish. It's a beef Wellington burger, and they give you a syringe to inject it full of cheese right here. So we've got our cheese-filled beef Wellington burger here. Let's give it a try. Whoa, that is extraordinary. You get this really nice crunch from the puff pastry. The burger itself is very well cooked, and the cheese just takes it to an entirely new level. I'm incredibly impressed with this dish. So the final course here is the tableside Caesar salad, right here from scratch with olive oil, egg yolk, anchovies, and everything that goes into a really great Caesar salad. This is what we were given here. To be honest, it's not my favorite presentation of a Caesar salad. So this is a classic Caesar, which means that it's the full leaf. Something about it just doesn't look as appetizing as I think it could with that level of presentation next to the table. The other thing that's interesting, I've had now 3 courses and there are a lot of crumbs on the table from the bread and the beef Wellington, and no one's been around to wipe that up or clean it. It's just an interesting thing that you'll normally find at a high-end steakhouse, but just seems to have been missed here. I wouldn't qualify that as a Caesar salad. It feels like an olive oil dressing with Parmesan, which is still nice, but I definitely wouldn't call it a classic Caesar salad. So not my favorite dish of the night, but the other two, especially that beef Wellington, wow. Okay, so there is one bonus dining segment location. The juice bar here on site has smoothies, protein shakes, and green juices. So I'm gonna order the greenest juice that they have to close out the dining segment, and then we'll give it a final score. So those were the 6 restaurants here at the Four Seasons Papagayo. I love the diversity and different options that you have for dining here. They incorporated the local ingredients and culture and people and Aboriginal tribes. The dishes themselves were excellent. They weren't the very best that I've ever tried on this channel, but I was definitely impressed overall. However, there have been other hotels that have even more options, like the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas or Four Seasons in Seoul. With all that being said, it was still a very far above average dining experience, and I gave the dining an 8 out of 10. The service at the restaurants was not the best, but we do have a couple of official service tests to really put this to the test. Service is such an important part of your stay when you're at a luxury property like this. So let's go to the room and see how they do. So remember how I ordered breakfast room service last night? Well, it just arrived. It was right on time, so the time is 7 a.m. And here we have the Eggs Benedict and a black coffee. Let's test to see how hot it is. Really great, and obviously Costa Rican coffee is very, very good. The Eggs Benedict plating is okay. It's not the best plating that I've seen for a room service breakfast. You know what we do now? Wow, look at that. Very fresh. Just poached. Very good. The Four Seasons here passed the breakfast room service test. Let's get dressed and do the official service test. So what is the service test? Well, the service test is the part of the review where I call the front desk and I order something they're not used to accommodating. In the past for Four Seasons, I've ordered an entire tent to be set up in the room. The Four Seasons website says they can accommodate virtually anything. We know that from previous reviews. One of you actually commented on that video requesting that someone wakes me up with guitar, and I loved that idea, so I'm gonna put my own spin on it.
How may I help you?
Hi there, what time is sunset today?
It should be around 5:54.
I have an interesting request for you. Would it be possible to hire someone to come and play the acoustic guitar at the beach at sunset?
For today,
For tonight, yes.
we do have certain people working with the Four Seasons for these kind of activities. Will you mind giving me a couple of minutes so we can check on availability?
Of course. And tomorrow's okay as well, if tomorrow's better.
Okay.
Hello?
This is Arthur for the concierge. I already found a guy that can come over here to do the guitar.
Oh, great. And we only need him for an hour.
For 1 hour, it is 1,400.
I'm sorry, 1,400 US dollars?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know. Okay.
Got it. No worries. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
letting me know.
So let's dive into the service. There was a mixture of service experiences that I had here at the Four Seasons. On one end, there were some negatives or things that just seemed a little off. Some examples, when I was checking in, they were prioritizing internal conversations over the guests, which really slowed the check-in process. I asked for a coffee during check-in and they directed me to go down to the cafe, quite a far walk, to get my own coffee, which, look, by itself is not a big deal, but on top of not being prioritized, the slow check-in process, there were a couple of things that just seemed like they were missing, and it could be just the size of a resort like this. On the flip side, some of the staff, like with the sound healing, and others that showed us all of the history and backstory of this hotel were really incredible. They did pass that breakfast service test, but maybe didn't quite pass the actual service test just because of the pricing and how they handled it. Overall, I've definitely seen better service at other hotels, including the Four Seasons in Seoul, which got a 9 out of 10. So I would give the Four Seasons here in Costa Rica a 7 out of 10. The Four Seasons here is located in Peninsula Papagayo, which is a very premium area on the far west of Costa Rica. In fact, the peninsula is 70% underdeveloped. Per the country of Costa Rica, you cannot build on 70% of it, which keeps everything very natural, very green, and very lush in the area, and makes it feel like it really is a nature reserve as well as a luxury resort. All right, from the cold plunge here, let's talk about the it factor a little bit more. There are a lot of Costa Rican traditions and snacks and lifestyle amenities that are incorporated into the hotel, and many of them are complimentary. From surfing to snorkeling to hiking to beach activities and sunset yoga, there are a lot of activities every day that are included in your stay. We don't always see that in luxury hotels. Some of the extra add-ons and additions are not in the price range of what we've seen at other hotels, so the value is not 100% worth it. With all of that in consideration, I gave the it factor a 7.5 out of 10. So there you have it. That is the legendary Four Seasons Peninsula Papagayo. I figured I would end this review with one of their private dining experiences that they can set up for you right here on the beach. Overall, the Four Seasons Peninsula Papagayo has definitely shown a little bit of age over the years and may now be threatened by some of these other major brands that have come into the area. However, with all of that being said, I would still recommend this resort for anyone who's coming to Costa Rica and wants to stay in this area. It's just now you might have a couple of other options to choose from as well. I gave the Peninsula Papagayo Four Seasons a 36.5 out of 50. And with that, it's unfortunately time to check out. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Ryan Walker. Thank you so much.